Hello again. It's my second video I'm doing today. Yeah, I know. I think somebody put some sugar or energy supplement in my Walmart brand mini ravioli. But anyway, being productive here. And I'll tell you a little something here. If you want really good pizza, like some of the best you'll ever eat, you got to go to Laurel, Delaware. Okay, that's in the extreme southwest corner of the state. Call that the conservative county in Delaware, Sussex County. And go to a place called Bargain Bill's. They have some of the best pizza you'll ever eat. And I found out the secret why their pizza's so good is the sauce. Okay, they put sugar in the sauce. It's something that I do occasionally. I'll just put a little pinch of sugar in the spaghetti. Or, if I ever make a pizza, I'll put it in there. Yeah, really good. Used to be a huge flea market. About 10 years ago, though, they sold some of the land. They put a gas station, one of the little mini mall complexes, and they still have a flea market, but it's not as good as it used to be. The pizza, however, is still very top-notch. So remember, Laurel, Delaware, Bargain Bill's. Now, why did I talk about pizza? Well, this video, I'm going to talk to you about working as a pizza delivery driver. Something that I did for 7 years, believe it or not. I had a video that I never published on my YouTube channel. I did the video on pizza delivery, and it was like an hour long. It was horribly done. I was doing, my vocal cadence was choppy, and it's a lot of and pauses, and yeah, terrible. So I decided that, you know what, I'm going to try to organize the video. I'm going to have a little script and do it that way. And I guess, why am I doing a video about working as a pizza delivery driver? Because, honestly, on YouTube, there's not a whole lot of videos about being a pizza delivery driver. There's a guy up in New Jersey who, a few years ago, he did these really funny skits, about customers he's encountered when being a pizza delivery driver. There's a guy, I think Jay the Pizza Guy, who has actually done, like a video pretty good about, like, the myths and the truths of pizza delivery driver. And then there's a guy who lives, like, just in Kernersville, just like 15 minutes west of where I live, on YouTube, named Doomy Grunt. And he does a lot of bad driving videos, and he works as a pizza delivery driver for Papa John's. But this video, I want it to be very comprehensive. And what I did was I brainstormed all the questions people will have, and I hope I answer all your questions in this video. But if I don't, please feel free to put a question in the comment box below my video, and I'll do my best to answer it the best that I can. So, let's get into it, shall we? First thing I have on here is the pay. What does a pizza delivery driver make? Now, your pay, it's one of those your mileage may vary kind of things. So I started out in the pizza delivery industry back in 2009 in the east suburbs of Baltimore, which is not a very nice area. Not as bad as inner city Baltimore, but it's the best area in Baltimore is like, Lutherville, up towards Hunt Valley, Perry Hall, White Marsh. This is, not so great, but not as bad as inner city Baltimore. And I'll tell you, at that time, and this might just be a blue state thing, but I was working for Domino's at the time, and they were a corporate-owned store. And I made the full minimum wage, which at the time in Maryland was $7.25. I think now it's $10 an hour. But I got the full minimum wage, okay? And I got, tips, obviously. And then for every delivery that you took, you got like $1.50, $2, in gas money. Okay. After a few months, I moved down to Wilmington, North Carolina. I work for Domino's still, but this time it was a franchise store. The pay there was $5.50 an hour flat rate. And then, of course, you got your tips, your mileage. And then there was a lawsuit that went through. After the lawsuit, we got paid, I think it was when we were actually out on deliveries, we got paid $4.50 an hour. And then in the store, we got the full minimum, which was $7.25, and still is to this day, North Carolina at least. And then it was the same. Went to Papa John's, it was the same thing. And even they transferred from corporate. Yeah. And then the store was franchised and was corporate, but they still kept the same $4.50 on the road, $7.25 in the store. And then it was, when I moved to Orlando, it was the state minimum for tipped employees, I think it was like $5.03 an hour. And then you got this, when you were in the store, the state minimum wage is like $8.10 an hour. I think that's gone up a little bit. I think it's $5.25 now for tipped employees in Florida, and like $8.25, I believe, is the full minimum in Florida. Okay, benefits. Unfortunately, the benefits are pretty lousy as pizza delivery. You don't get any paid time off. They don't offer any tuition reimbursement, that sort of thing. They do, thanks to the Affordable Care Act, they do offer, aka Obamacare, whatever. I'm not going to get too political here, but since 2014, 2015, they've been required to offer health insurance. But I have to tell you, health insurance is not so great. It's like the premium is like at least $80, and that's like, I think every paycheck or every other paycheck. But yeah, when you're not making so much, it's like 100. It could be anywhere from, I think, 150 to $300 a month, something like that. And yeah, so really, the only benefits you get for a pizza delivery driver is you get to sit down when you're in your car, drive, and listen to whatever music or podcast or anything you want, okay? And you have freedom on the road, and you get, if you work for Domino's, you get half price off pizza all the time. At Papa John's, it's half price off the whole menu, though, okay? You also get to, occasionally, people order carry out, and they'll forget to pick it up. So sometimes you'll get to have free food. And sometimes also, same thing happens with deliveries. People will get a delivery order, but, it won't be able to get delivered. It's the wrong number. They had an emergency. Yeah, you bring it back to the store, and, it's not fresh, but, after an hour and a half, 2 hours, you can eat it, kind of thing. So you do get free food sometimes. Duties. Obviously there's you drive around and you deliver pizza. There's a lot more to it, though. If it's a busy night, that's probably all you're going to be doing. But if you work especially during the week, and oh my gosh, Monday nights, and if you work during the week on a weekday morning or afternoon, it's slow as molasses. You'll be doing, you'll be folding boxes, you'll be labeling boxes as the orders come in, you'll be oven tending, cutting pizza, saucing the wings, what else? Prepping food that day. What else will you be doing? Answering phones, which is Not as easy as it is, because there's some really dumb people out there, especially in Florida. There's a lot of people who try and call and they can't speak English, or if they do speak English, they don't do it very well. It's like, and you're like, please just order online already. And if you're lucky enough to be a closing driver, in other words, you're a driver who works until the store closes for the night, after you get done all the deliveries, some nights, if you're supposed to close at 2, okay, you might be off the road by 2, but some nights it might be jammed up and you might not get off the road till 3, and then you have to do an hour of work again. You have to do dishes, sweep and mop the floors, and of course you're really tired, and it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, hard work. What company should you deliver with? Short answer, Domino's. Long answer, as of right now, obviously Papa John's is going through a lot of turmoil. I'm not going to get into it. You know what's going on with Papa John's. I hope you would. If you're watching the video about pizza delivery, you probably already know a little bit about Papa John's. They're not doing very well. Domino's is, they're very innovative. They're cutting edge. They were the first pizza company to have online ordering. Yeah. But even more to that answer, what company should you deliver with? Domino's is good. If you're in like a big city and there's like a mom and pop chain that really does good business, like in Cincinnati, you have La Rosa's, right? They do a really good business. I mean, they have their own call center if people have a problem with their order. And they have really good pizza too, I must say. So yeah, what company should you deliver for? Well, I would even go out around dinner time, like say between 6 and 8 o'clock. In the summertime, it doesn't get dark till 8, so you might want to drive between 8 and 10. But drive around one night and just go to the part of your town or city that you want to deliver for, and see how many delivery drivers are on the road, because of course they'll have these car topper signs on their top of their cars what company they're with. And if there's more Pizza Hut than Domino's, well, you should go to Pizza Hut. But if there's more Domino's than Pizza Hut, go to Domino's. But if Tony's Neighborhood Pizzeria has the most delivery cars out there, then you should probably deliver with Tony's. Okay. Where should you deliver? The most money that I made as a pizza delivery driver was with Domino's in Wilmington, North Carolina, and it was the store that was right by the campus of University of North Carolina at Wilmington. It was like, the Domino's was right. The property of Domino's was like right up against the property line of the university. That's how close it was. And Friday and Saturday I'd make, in tips alone, I'd probably make over 100 every night. Most nights 150. Sunday night close to 100. During the week, yes, 50 to 75-ish. But yeah. So where should you deliver? Probably near a college. College kids eat a lot of pizza, okay? But make sure the college is in the part of town that's on the up and up. It's, in a part of town that's desirable to live in. Here's an example. If you're in Fayetteville, North Carolina, don't deliver with the Domino's that's by Fayetteville State University. It's a terrible part of town. If the college is in a not pretty bad part of town, you probably don't want to deliver there. Another thing I'll say is that, you should have the right combination of, should be a college in an upscale to middle class residential neighborhood. I think that's the answer to that question. why should you be a pizza delivery driver? I've already talked about this a little bit, but it's if you're the kind of person that works well by yourself, this is probably a good job for you because you're going to be on the road by yourself a lot. If you're a person who likes to drive around, if you're the kind of person that likes to listen to music and podcasts in your car, yeah. And if you like getting, 50% off on your food, you like eating lots of pizza. As you can see, yeah, I got a little meat on the bone, so yeah, I kind of like it too. Another thing I'll say, though, is every single night you work as a pizza delivery driver, you're going to make some money. You're going to have some cash to take home at the end of your shift. Some nights you might have a really lousy night where people are giving you like $1 tips and you come home with $25. Other nights you might make over 100. Yeah, it varies, but still, you're going to have some cash at the end of the night, okay? Remember that, okay? I mean, it's the only job you can work, well, besides being a waitress or a waiter, that you're guaranteed to have some cash in your hand at the end of the night, okay? Because, yeah, there's a lot of other jobs that only pay, like, every other week, and oh my gosh, getting paid twice a month, or, every 2 weeks, just, yeah. It's like, oh, why can't they have a law in this country that says you have to get paid every week? That would be nice. Okay. When should you deliver? I already kind of answered this question, but I'll do it again. Keep the video organized. If you want to make the most money, you're going to want to work when most people are home and are able to order delivery for pizza. So guess what? That's going to be nights and weekends. The most money you're going to make is on Friday and Saturday nights, followed by Sunday nights. If you want to get a night off, a guaranteed night off, I recommend taking off Monday and Tuesday nights. Those are the absolute worst nights of the week. You'll be looking at, you'll really get to know your coworkers on those 2 nights, because you'll be doing sweeping and, folding boxes until you can't, there's no more space. And you'll be looking at each other and won't make any money on those 2 nights. Okay. So if you can, try to have off Monday and Tuesday nights. Always try to work nights and weekends. Now, if you're new hire, they're probably going to put you, half your shifts are going to be at night, and probably half your shifts are going to be during the day. I do not recommend working during the day because traffic, okay, is only going to get worse as your shift. Because if you come in at 10 o'clock in the morning, okay, there's hardly any traffic, but you're really not going to have very few deliveries, okay, until 4 or 5 o'clock. And then, depending on where you live, traffic will be a madhouse. And also, if you work a day shift, and really, if, work any shift is, if you're scheduled to leave at 6, there is no guarantee you're going to get off at 6, okay? Most nights, especially on a day shift, you're going to be there till 7 or 8 o'clock. So if you have any plans for that day, you're going to want to request that whole day off. I mean, if you're scheduled to work from, this has happened to me before, you're scheduled to work 10 to 6, and you tell your manager, please try to get me out on time, but yeah. Then you're there to 8:30. You miss the political meeting or whatever meeting it is, and yeah, just take the whole day off. But of course, if you're starting out at a company, try to be a good team player and work a few day shifts. Now obviously the best thing you can do to avoid that is get a second job during the day. And the best thing to do is try to find a 9 to 5, a job that's only available during the day. like an office job. Like my dad was a firefighter, my mom's a nurse, so it's very difficult for me to get any kind of an office job. Well, if that's the case for you, another job I recommend is working at a auto parts store, because they're usually open only during the day. I mean, well, the mom and pop and small chains are only open during the day. I mean, if you work for O'Reilly's or Advance, they're open till 9, 10 o'clock at night, so that's not cool. Just try to find a local auto parts job. Most of them will be hiring delivery drivers where you'll get to use their car and pick up a little extra money during that. Or if you're taking college classes, okay, yeah, that's another good reason to go to class during the day and work at night, kind of thing. Or if you already have a job and it's during the day, you can use your pizza delivery job as a second job, okay? And then, eventually, if you want to, you can quit and just focus on the day job if you want to do that. A lot of people use pizza delivery, and this is really what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a short-term job where you work maybe a few months to a year, and you're saving up for, you're saving up because when you have kids, or you're saving up for, another house or something, or whatever it is. And then after a few months to a year, people are used to get out of debt. Yeah, that's a big one for Dave Ramsey. It's like, hey, go get a job delivering pizza, and within 6 months to a year, you can quit, kind of thing. So, another question we probably have is, how can I get a job delivering pizza? Okay. It's important when you really want to get a job is, okay, don't do the typical thing, which is you fill out the application online and then you wait for a phone call, because 90% of the time, you're not going to get the job that way. What you need to do is and this is why I advocate for delivering pizza with a major chain. You want to live in a town or a city that has multiple locations of the chain you want to work for. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to go to that store, your first choice store. Okay. Go there, ask to speak with the manager, and always try to go in the morning, 10 or 11 o'clock. Never, ever go during the dinner rush. When's the dinner rush? Generally, okay, in the wintertime, it's going to be probably between 4. Yeah, well, pretty much, most of the year you're going to want to avoid 4 to 8. Now, obviously, if it's a really nice day in the spring or summertime and it doesn't get dark to 8 o'clock, people turn into Europeans and do most of their ordering after dark, 8, 9 o'clock at night. But yeah, do not go during dinner rush, okay? Go during the morning. Ask to speak to the manager. Most of the time, the manager will always be there early in the morning. You go, okay? You tell them, hi, my name is so-and-so. Very interested in working as a pizza delivery driver. Give them resume, references. Like, Bobby, this is only a pizza delivery. No, still. Okay, stick with me. And try to go in there. You don't have to go in there dressed in a suit and tie, but try to do a little bit better than what I'm wearing right now. Wear a nice button-down shirt, khaki pants, maybe tuck your shirt in. Don't wear flip-flops. Wear at least a nice pair of tennis shoes, and just go in. Speak to the manager. Tell them, say, hey, are you hiring? They are, great. Give them, contact information. Say, hey, I'm available. Oh, make sure you say that you're ready to start right away. They love to hear that. You say, I want to start 2 months from Monday. No. Okay, don't do that. And usually what will happen is a lot of these places, they always have positions available because, again, I've told you that the turnover rate in the pizza delivery industry is extremely high, okay? Because people just, for whatever reason, they unfortunately have an accident, their car gets wore out, a bunch of other things, or they might use that second job and then they accomplish their goals, so now they leave. But yeah, they usually almost always, they usually almost always will, have open hiring, rolling hiring. The one thing you want to avoid, you want to make sure you have a clean driving record. What I mean by that is, if you have a DUI, you can forget ever being a delivery driver anywhere. Period. If you have a speeding ticket on your record, make sure it's with, I think most places want a driving record that's clean for like 3 years and that sort of thing. I mean, if you have if your ticket was like 30 over the limit and it happened a month ago, they're probably not going to take you. But if you have a speeding ticket and you were doing like only 10 over and it was like a year ago, they'll probably take you. If they have jobs available, you give them the information, and they'll probably ask. Another thing, give them your car registration, proof of insurance. Make sure you have a copy of that. In North Carolina, they usually they're going to want to get you're going to have to get a copy of your NVR, your motor vehicle report for them. So make sure when you go, you have, your car registration, car insurance, your motor vehicle report, and also you want to have all your contact information, phone number, address, social security card, driver's license, all that stuff. Give it to them. And usually within 2 to 3 days, you'll start working. Now, there was one situation where I was working for Domino's in Wilmington, North Carolina, and unfortunately, there was a new district regional supervisor, and he didn't like me very much for some reason. And what he ended up doing was transferring me from UNCW store to Castle Siberia, Castle Hayne, North Carolina. A very rural, a Domino's in a very rural, small town, and it's kind of a lot of poor people up there who, if they order pizza, they don't tip. A lot of them can't even afford to order pizza. So yeah, after that, I was like, I need to go to Papa John's and get back in the UNCW area. So I went and I talked to the manager, very, very nice guy named Bryson. He no longer works there. That's why I can use his name. And he told me that, yeah, I'm definitely looking for people, but he was getting ready to go to the Papa John's convention in Orlando. And he said, well, check back with me in like a couple weeks. I was like, okay. So I come back 2 weeks later. By then, he's like, okay, put all your information and start tomorrow. So yeah, most of the time, if you need a job and you need cash right away, definitely, if you can, definitely get a pizza delivery job. You'll be working with probably within 2 to 3 days, most instances. Good tippers versus bad tippers. Okay, this one might surprise you, but believe it or not, most college kids tip. You may not think so because you hear the old poor college student, I'm on ramen noodles kind of thing, but no. Most of them tip because guess what? Most of them have jobs in restaurants where they work for tips. So if they're ordering pizza delivery, yeah, they feel for you. And usually they'll tip you. Now tips, don't, if you get a $5 tip from a college student, make sure you thank them and really smile and be very happy. Most of them probably only give you $2 to $3. But if you're working for a busy store like Domino's there by UNCW, very busy store, it's more about how many deliveries you get rather than your average tip per delivery. And another thing I'll say, though, is don't judge a tip by the house you deliver to, okay? I've gone to some really nice houses, and they'll order like $50 worth of food, and I'll get like a little $3 tip, okay? But then I'll deliver to a double wide trailer on a very busy road that's very hard to find, and they order $25 worth of food, and they give me a $10 tip. So there's good tippers versus bad tippers, but always know that expect the unexpected. As far as, well, oh, it's a good house, I'm going to get a good tip. Or, that's a double wide trailer, they ain't going to give me anything. Now, you just never know, okay? Bad tippers. I'll tell you that tourists are horrible tippers. And a good example of this was I had a friend and coworker who was Domino's had picked to deliver a Saturday night down in Myrtle Beach, okay? And then she was going to take it, but she asked me, and I was like, and this is the very first time that Domino's had done this, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I'll do it. I'm a curious guinea pig, so I did it. Let me tell you something. It was lousy, okay? I think I worked from like 5 to like, I think 10. I made $15 in tips. Yeah, like $3 an hour average. Usually your average in tips will usually be between about $7 to $10 an hour in tips. And then you add what Papa John's or Domino's is paying you, the wage, and then you'll be usually making like $12 to $15 an hour. That night I only made $15 in tips. Okay, I had my first delivery was the people that ordered were obviously tourists, because I think their license plate was like Tennessee or something when I got there. But they had given me the wrong address, so I went there, I knocked on the door to the address that I got, and nobody ordered pizza, so I called them. It's like, oh my gosh, where you're at? And a delivery that should have taken 15 minutes took like 30 to 45 minutes. Yeah. That's one reason I say you probably don't want to work in a heavily resort area, because people don't know where they are. I had another delivery that night. It was a $50 order, okay? And it was to a beachfront hotel, a really, really nice, probably had just been built, a year or two ago. Very new, very state-of-the-art beachfront hotel, okay? And they ordered like $50 worth of food. Or no, it was like $46, $47. Well, they gave me a $50 and they said keep the change. So I didn't even get a 10% tip on that. And yeah, most of the night I just did not get very good tips, and and then a couple of them didn't even know where they were. So try to avoid delivering pizza in an area that's very touristy, okay, like Myrtle Beach. Okay. What kind of car should I use? This one should be kind of common sense, but sometimes it's not, because I've seen people with full-size pickup trucks, vans, any kind of car you name it, I've seen people deliver pizza. But generally, you want a car that's very good on gas. You want a car that's very reliable. Generally, I'll say a Honda or Toyota, Honda Accord, Toyota Corolla, Toyota Camry. Any one of those three are usually very good. And remember, this job, you're going to put a lot of miles on your car. A lot of wear and tear, okay? And just remember that. And you really, if you're not the kind of person who is really into knowing about car maintenance, you need to know about car maintenance, okay? That's the bottom line here. Learn how to check your fluids, check your belts, your hoses. Excuse me. try to find a good reputable mechanic, okay, who's not going to rip you off either. And if you can try to find one that's a friend to pizza delivery drivers, that'd be great too. You definitely want to keep an eye on your tires because you're going to work rain, snow, any kind of weather. You're going to want to have the best tires you possibly can. Always check your tread and, don't be like me. About 8 to 10, about 8 years ago, I saw my coolant gauge was sort of like one of those attractions at a carnival where you hit a hammer to a bell and the bell starts going up a little bit. Well, that's my coolant gauge was going a little bit. It went to the red and then it went down a little bit and then went up a little. Yeah. So, don't be one of those people who ignores check engine lights. I did that too. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Stay up on your vehicle maintenance. And if you don't know anything about car maintenance, you better get educated, okay? Because this job will really put your car through the muck and the mire. Let's just say that. One more question here. Why I left the industry. Trying to make a long story short here. Why did I leave the industry? I was having a lot of issues in Orlando. I was working for Papa John's right there at the corner of East Colonial Drive and Althea. At that time, they had a huge delivery area. That's another thing I'll say. Do not deliver pizza for a store that has a delivery area the size of Rhode Island. Okay, don't do it. We had the whole entire campus of University of Central Florida. We had Waterford Lakes and Avalon Park. And then I found out like a couple weeks ago they had built a new store in Avalon Park. So the delivery area there got a little smaller, thank God. All right. But unfortunately, I was not doing very good financially. I had taken a second job, but guess what the second job was? It was another job where I had to use my car, and it was delivering boxed lunches. And man, the tips there were like actually loud. The people that were tipping me were like lousier than delivering pizza. It was terrible. And I actually had to pay for my own gas. You want to talk about greed? I mean, the owner there was really nice, but I just was like, and gosh, I had worked for him for like a year and a half, and I don't know, I was just a bad time in my life. But anyway, long story short, Orlando is a mess traffic-wise. Basically, you can either drive on a congested, surface street that has lots of traffic lights, or you can drive on a expressway and pay tolls. Well, I chose expressway with tolls most of the time. And unfortunately, got to the point where I just couldn't pay the tolls anymore, so I just kind of let them, let the thing kind of build up. And it built up so much that the state of Florida suspended my driver's license. And about, believe it or not, it took about 3 months for Papa John's to find this out. And when they did, I was clocking in to work, okay? And I got my license suspended in May of 2016. And this was Thursday night in August, like early August, like almost probably 2 years ago to the day. Because this is August 10th, 2018. This is probably August, I think 10th or 11th of 2016. I was clocking into work, and we use this computer monitor, and we put in our user ID and password. So, okay, I did that, tried to clock in, and said, "You're unable to clock in, see manager," and I knew right away. I asked the manager anyway, but I knew that my license had been suspended. Sure enough, she said, "Yeah, well, your license is suspended." I was like, "Oh yeah, I got a toll bill I have to pay, and I'll get back to y'all when I can." So that was how my pizza delivery tenure ended. But there have been other occurrences I say this again like a broken record, but if you're in the pizza delivery industry, you really, really gotta buckle down and take care of your car, okay? That is the bottom line. Because I had another situation where I ignored check engine light. I ignored, oh man, I was so stubborn back, 2010 or so. I just, ignored check engine light. I ignored my coolant gauge going all over the place. And I even saw smoke coming from my hood. It was a little smoke. And I ignored that. And then one day, the car stopped running. And then because I was a pizza delivery driver, and I didn't have any other job or experience, I had to stay a pizza delivery driver, and I had to rent a rental car. And I had lousy credit, so I was doing that for a year and a half, until I could finally get a second job and save up money to get save $2,500 and get a down payment on another car. So, pizza delivery job is not for everybody. It's just not, And really, it's something that I don't recommend doing for 7 years. I recommend doing for about no more than a year. Just a short-term stopgap kind of a job, okay? Please. Another question you're probably asking is, have I ever been robbed? Yes and no. This is why I say try to deliver pizza in a safe neighborhood. But crime, these days, crazy world, you just never know when crime's going to happen. But the way that I was robbed was it wasn't violent at all. Basically what happened was I delivered to one of these really seedy kind of budget hotels in Wilmington. I think it was American's Best Value Inn. They're on Market Street. And the company policy technically says we're not supposed to give the customer their food until they give us the money. However, I don't know why they had that rule, because if you hold their food till they get their money, the customer will think you're rude. It's like, because usually when you see the customer, you give them their food, right? And they pay for it after. Well, I did what I always did because I want to be nice to the customer. I gave them their food, okay? And they said that they had, forgotten their wallet or something. It was like, oh, man, I forgot my wallet. I'll be right back. Well, 10 minutes went by. They didn't show up. So I called manager back at the store and said, well, I basically been robbed. I wasn't hurt. He didn't hold a gun or anything, but he basically was, went off with the pizza and never came back with his money. So, yeah. But if you are ever in a situation where somebody pulls a gun at you and says, look, give me all your pizza or all your money, okay, give them the pizza and give them the money. Don't try to, That's why it's weird they have this rule where you're supposed to wait till they get... No, ignore that. Give them the food, and then most 99.9% of the time they'll give you payment. Okay. What else did I want to say? Oh, yeah. And you always are going to get a $20 bank on you, okay? And really, you're only supposed to carry $20 on you. Now, obviously, if you have money in your wallet, you're going to put it in a locker at work. Don't keep it in your car. Don't keep it on you unless, obviously, you need to buy gas or something. But, yeah, try to only carry $20 on you. Because if they ask you for money, you'll give them $20. And it's usually company money anyway. So you won't have to worry about taking a loss, usually. Well, I believe that's about it in this video. Went about 45 minutes. I was hoping not to go over 20 or 30, but okay, whatever. This video is a lot more better polished, I think, than my last video. Well, anyway, I am the conservative pelican. It's time for me to fly on out of here. Bye-bye.